Good morning, magic players and card collectors of all kinds. Welcome back to the channel. We're here today to do something we haven't done for quite a while. It's something that I decided we're going to bring back for one time only. Because I'm on vacation this week, I wanted to do something a little bit special, and, so yeah. Also because, quite frankly, it hasn't been the best week so far. If you've been following my content, you know that I've been basically camping out upstairs for the most part this week because my dad's home all week and he's in a miserable fucking mood because I'm here all week, basically preventing him from doing things that he wants to do, supposedly. So, anywho, to try and cheer myself up and to try and bring some fun card content to the channel, we're gonna go back to something we used to do on this channel that we always loved. It's a little bit late. I wanted to do this for yesterday because yesterday was Tuesday, but that's fine. We can still do it today. It's time for DOLLARAMA Draws of Destiny! That's right. We're going to do one episode of Draws of Destiny today. Today only. And then, like I say, it's going to be still retired up until probably sometime in October, or November possibly even. Maybe even December. We are going to bring it back, and when we bring it back, I do want to eventually have like a cool introduction like I do for the other card game series on the channel. But I don't have anything filmed for that right now, because this is kind of a spur-of-the-moment idea. I was in the Dollarama getting some livers for Kaiba because the big bag ran out at home that my dad had gotten him, and said, you know what, we haven't done this for a couple months now at least, and it was a staple of the channel, and I talk about it regularly, and I miss doing it, and I feel like I needed to give myself a little bit of a break, do something nice for myself. We've been making lots of Kaiba content, which is really good, but it's been kind of draining on me, to be perfectly honest. I'm just going to start ripping while I talk. It's not because I don't love making the Kaiba content, it's just because I find that I make a lot longer content for Kaiba than I do for the... Well, that's not true. Okay, what it is more so is I do a lot more editing for the Kaiba content than I ever do for this stuff. This stuff, for the most part, I either just put in the intro and the outro, maybe add in a few, flashy words sometimes or something, but I mean, for the most part, I really don't add anything to the card game videos because I like to let the cards speak for themselves, whereas the Kaiba videos I like to add some fun stuff to and make them more entertaining and uplifting and attractive. I guess what I'm saying is I basically do the card games content as much as I do it for you guys. I do it for myself. Whereas the Kaiba content, I'm doing it for the memories that I want to make, because eventually I won't have Kaiba anymore, and these videos on YouTube and TikTok now and Facebook are going to be what I have left. So, yeah. Anyway, now that I've made us all down, let's try and bring us back up with the first pack. Starting with Horrid Shadow Spinner. 1 blue and black. Lifelink, whenever this thing attacks, you may draw cards equal to its power. If you do, discard that many cards. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And I am going to build a horrors deck eventually, so nice to get that extra copy. Or, well, no, it's not an extra copy, it's a brand new card, but nice to get another horror for the deck, is what I mean. Diamond Knight, 3 for a 1/1, Vigilance. Okay. When it enters battlefield, choose a color. Okay. When you cast a spell as a chosen color, you get to put +1/+1 counter on this thing. Ooh, nice. In a monocolor deck, that's going to pop off huge. Cool. Fairy Snoop. 1 a blue and a black for flying with 1/4, and Disguise 1 and a combination of 2 blue or black. So you play it face down for 3, and then you pay that cost to flip it face up. When this thing is turned face up, look at the top 2 cards of your library, put one of them into your hand, the other into your graveyard. Not so bad, not so bad. These two are definitely a little bit better than that, though. But I'm not going to kick that out of bed. Ooh, we got a Hollow Ignarunize. I have a few copies of this, but I don't think I had a hollow version of it yet, so that's cool. So that's 3/3 for 3 and a blue. When it enters the battlefield, you get to scry 3, which is pretty nice. And when it dies, you draw 3 cards if 3 or more creatures died on the same turn. So, interesting little gimmick to that card. And it's our first legendary of the day, so nice. Oh, I forgot to do the pack trick. Shoot. Let me just quickly see if I have to flip any other ones. I thought I did flip. I did flicker through them all, but I must have missed that one was upside down. My bad. We got a Siege Gang Commander, which is an insanely good card. When this thing enters the battlefield, you make 3 1/1 red goblin creature tokens. And then you can pay 1 in a red to sacrifice a goblin, and this thing gets to do 2 damage to any target. This is very, very valuable for me going into the next goblin deck that I want to build. I think I have one in my first goblin deck, but I didn't have an extra copy, so solid. Nahiri's Binding. 1 a blue, 1 and 2 white. Enchant creature or planeswalker. The enchanted thing can't attack or block, and it can't activate its activated abilities. Okay. Not bad, not bad. You do know that I've mentioned on the channel many times before, the only reason I'm kind of against those cards, even though they're very nice in a pinch, is that as soon as you remove the card from the field, the thing that you were trying to get rid of comes back. So I tend to aim for more things that exile stuff, but that is still very useful in a pinch. And in a deck where enchantments matter, that would be insanely good. Alright, so we've got Death Speakers. 1 white for a 1/1, protection from black. Is that a... Ooh, it's an old school card! 97. We pulled an old school and a legendary in the first pack. Drawing for Destiny is going well today. Ooh, a second old school maybe? 93 to 98, it is! 2 and a white. When Monk Idealist comes into play, return target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Nice, it's a 2/2. Very useful, very useful. Ooh, a full art Pippin's Bravery. I don't think I had the full art version of this before. Pay green, instant. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn, otherwise it gets +2/+2. Really nice card. Very happy with that one. Endrider Catalyzer. 1 and a red, 3/1. Start your engines. Max speed, you get to tap this to add 2 mana. Well, 2 red mana, but still nice. The only downside is the whole butt being so weak. You need to buff this somehow, otherwise that's going to get killed probably very quick. You have to make your opponents lose life to increase speed. That's what it was. I couldn't remember how that mechanic worked. Dead Reckoning. 1 and 2 black. You may put target creature card from your graveyard on top of your library. If you do, Dead Reckoning deals damage equal to that card's power to target creature. Ooh. That's a nice little sorcery I've never seen before. Pegasus Stampede. I think yes, I do have 1 copy of this, but this is a kind of a neat card. So for 1 and a white, you get to put a plus 1/1 white creature token onto the field with flying that's called Pegasus. And then you can get this card back to your hand by sacrificing 1 of your lands. So in a deck where actually getting rid of lands matters, this is kind of neat. And it is old school, if I remember correctly, as well. Yes, so that's 3 old school cards in 1 pack. And 2 legendaries now. Ooh, and that's a new one for me. I've never pulled this one. Green and blue for a 0/4. Pay 2 green and blue, draw a card, you can put a land from your hand onto the battlefield. Nice. It's a halfling druid, so it could have went in my, no, but it's not the right colors for my Hobbits deck. Gretchen Titchwillow. I like you a lot. Flavor text. Plant what you wish to see grow. Listen for the stories you want to hear told. Ooh, I like that a lot, too. Very good packs so far to start us off on this episode. 4 and a white. Creatures control get +2/+1 until end of turn, cycling 2. A little expensive to put that into play, but the cycling is probably very useful. If you can't get it out and you need some extra support. 1 and a green, Bull Strength. Target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample until end of turn. You get to untap it. Nice. And an extra hollow. 2 hollows in that pack. 3 old schools, 2 legendaries. That pack was stacked, guys. That pack was stacked. Alright. Didn't pull any lands. That's the only thing that we didn't actually pull in that pack, which is interesting. Usually you get at least 1 land. in a pack of 15, but we haven't pulled any packs of 15 in a while, so you never know. Maybe they've mixed it up a little bit. We also grabbed one of the bundles, and I'm hoping that we actually can do what we did the other day and pull a second pack. I think I figured out the way to tell whether there's a pack in there or not without like actually standing around and looking inside the packaging. I'm not going to explain the trick because I don't want to like get in trouble with Dollarama per se. But if I have figured out the trick and I'm right, then I might be able to keep constantly at least pulling packs with packs, which would be cool. Or the 20 pack sleeves. I definitely know how to avoid the 100 pack sleeves because those ones are just super fat. They're really obvious when you look to grab those ones. 2 in a blue, 2/2. Whenever this thing deals damage to an opponent, you get to draw a card. That's not bad at all. It is another otter for my when I eventually want to build an otters deck. So that's good. Ooh, a second hollow ball strength. Okay. Interesting that they're both hollows. Eldrazi Ravager. 5 and colorless. Annihilator 1, 6/6. Sacrifice 2 Eldrazi, return this thing from your graveyard to your hand. I do have the Eldrazi Precon, which I never bothered to upgrade because that thing is just way too powerful as is. But I also have a whole bunch of other random Eldrazi's that I eventually am going to build like maybe a colorless deck with some of those in. So that's kind of cool. Definitely a big hit because that's a new one for me too. Anything with Annihilator is always good. Blue Elemental Blast. 1 blue. It's definitely got to be old school. I don't even see a date on it. Counters a red spell being cast or destroys a red card in play. Cool. Well, I'm putting it up there with the old school. Hurler Cyclops. 3 and 2 red. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature. This thing deals 1 damage to any target. Nice. And it's a 5/4, so it's pretty stacked, too. Another hollow. Injector Crocodile. 4 and 2 black for a 5/5 Phyrexian Crocodile. When it dies, incubate 3. Okay. And it's got Swamp Cycling 2, so that's pretty decent all around. Unfortunately, you want it to die. It would be nice if it entered and died, you would get the trigger. In fact, I'm going to put that here because of that reason, I think. But it's still very good. Verdant Sun's Avatar. That's a hit. 5 and 2 green for a 5/5. When this thing or another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain life equal to that creature's toughness. That is actually a really good card, and I only had 1 copy of it. It's already in my dinosaur deck, of course. So, I think I might end up in my mono green deck, because that is solid. I do want to upgrade that mono green deck ever so slightly before I present it to you guys again on the channel. 4 and a blue for 3/3 with flash and flying. Okay. Herald of the Sun, 4 and 2 white, flying. Pay 3 and a white, put +1/+1 counter on another target creature with flying. So you can't target this angel, but you could target a bunch of your other angels. And I don't think I had this one. So that could possibly go in my mono white angels deck. Reckless Spite, 1 and 2 black. Destroy 2 target non-black creatures, you lose 5 life. Ouch, that's deep. But it does clear a couple of really pesky things off the board, so... Yeah. Ooh, a Tribal Instant. Blades, Velis Vel. 1 and a red. Shapeshifter. Changeling. Up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+0 and gain all creature types until end of turn. That's interesting. Very interesting. Nightwing Shade. 4 and a black for a 2/2 flying. 1 and a black, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a little expensive, but I like the artwork on it. I'm going back to this one for a second. I'm trying to decide something. Let me know in the comments if you know this. I'm going to try and check it later if I remember to before I post this video, but I've always been curious about the tribal cards. Do you have to have a creature of the tribe on board in order to play it? Like the one that I'm thinking of that I have in my rogues deck, you definitely need to have a rogue in order to play it, because it says in the rules text that you won't get the bonus if you don't. But I don't know about this one. Gitaxian Raptor, 2 and a blue, flying. When it enters the battlefield, it has 3 oil counters on it. Remove an oil counter from it, and it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. It's a 1/4. So you're going to move all 3 counters from it to make it a 4-1 at one point, if you really want to. It's an interesting little bird. Hollow Appetite for Brains. Okay. Black. Target opponent reveals his or her hand. You choose a card from it with converted mana cost 4 or greater and exile that card. Nice. I always love cards that let me see people's hands, so that's a solid card. And the last card in this pack is an Iron Golem, which I've always thought an Iron Golem was an interesting card. I would have preferred it being a 3/5, of course, but for 4 you get a 5/3 with Vigilance that has to attack and block each combat if able. So if you get swung at, you're always going to be blocking with this minimum, at least once per turn. And you have to actually attack with this each turn, which is kind of interesting. So it's a neat little one to build like a Voltron deck around if you wanted to. Kaiba is downstairs. I have ripped this. Now let's see what's inside. Am I right? Am I right? There is a booster. I was right. Okay. Edge of Eternity's booster this time. Nice. Don't think I opened very much of that set, so I'm pretty happy with that. We also have a 10 card, a 4 card, and a 6 card. Okay. So we'll go 10, 4, 6, and then we will do the Edge of Eternity's pack before we get out of here. But yes, I was indeed right, so I have figured out the trick. So at the bare minimum, I'm always going to get a pack of 20 sleeves, but I'm pretty sure that if there is a pack of cards there, as long as I'm not like being super obvious, I can probably find the one that has a pack of cards at the store too, which is cool. We'll see the next time in the fall, though, because like I say, I'm not buying any more of these for a while because I can't afford to. This was just a vacation treat for you and me. Because, yeah, I need to do something for my vacation that was special. I'm also going to get me and Kaiba and Aya sub at some point. That was the last thing. At the beginning of my holiday, I set aside like $45 for myself for holidays, for like little nice things as treats and stuff throughout the holidays. And so I got Kaiba some livers the other day, like I say, and I got these. And then I got, earlier this week we did the bacon thing for Kaiba, and then I have a little bit of money left over for a sub. So, yeah. That is the plan. Welcome Guide. 4 and a white for Bird Cleric. I do love birds. 2/2, flying. When it comes into play, target creature gets +2/+2 and gains flying until end of turn. Okay. I'm going to probably put that in my Cleric's deck over my Birds deck, but it's still a really good card. Burglar Rat. I have a number of copies of this, but it's not a bad card by any means. 1 and a black for a 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, each opponent has to discard a card. Not gonna knock that. Warped Physique. Blue and black. Target creature gets +X/-X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. I mean, that's a fantastic way to kill something, or to give your card a serious boost as it swings in for trample damage and stuff, which is kind of neat. I like that. It's versatile. Is that old school? No, 2013. Okay. Nefali Academy. First land of the day. If a spell or an ability an opponent controls causes you to discard a card, you may reveal that card and put it on top of your library instead of putting it anywhere else. And this taps to add 1 colorless to your pool. Nice. That's very nice. Only works for an opponent, though, so I can't use it to protect myself. That's a unfortunate thing, but still a pretty cool land. And one I've never pulled before, so. Void Beckoner. Nightmare Horror. Another horror for the Horrors deck when I build it. 6 and 2 black, 8/8 Death Touch. When you cycle Void Beckoner, put a Death Touch counter on target creature you control. Ooh. And you can cycle it for 2 and a black. That's pretty cool. Single Mind Ogre. 2, a black, and a red for 3/2. When it comes into play, target player reveals a card at random from his or her hand, then loses life equal to that card's converted mana. That's going to be fun to put into the right deck. 2 in black for a 2/2 vampire soldier called Skymarch Bloodletter. Flying. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Yeah, okay. Nothing wrong with that. Trapped in the Screen. 2 and a white. Ward 2. When this thing enters, exile an artifact, creature, or an enchantment until this thing leaves the battlefield. I do like that this one comes with protection. That one makes it a little bit better, personally, for me. I would probably use this, to be honest. Diviner's Lockbox. 4. Pay 1, tap, choose card name, then reveal the top card of your library. If the card has the chosen name, you sacrifice this thing and draw 3 cards. Huh. So if you know what is on top of your deck, you get a big benefit out of this. Or you get to use this to basically peek at the top of your deck constantly. I kind of like that. And we got a Grey Pelt Refuge, which is a nice land too, because I do love the life gain lands, even though they enter tapped. It is nice to get 1 extra life every time you play one of those, and if you get those in your opening hand, it's not the end of the world if you don't have something that you can play right away to toss that onto the field and get an early lead in the game. 6 card pack next. Let's see what we get. I'm trying to do this a little bit quickly because I'm doing it before my dad gets back from his walk. Return to nature, 1 in a green. Destroy an artifact, enchantment, or a card from a graveyard. Gets exiled. Nice. Strangle, always a good classic. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker for just a single red. Love that card. Unsubstantiate. Okay. 1 in a blue, return target spell or creature to its owner's hand. Nice. It's like a counter spell that makes you replay your thing. So most people are probably going to be less annoyed by that one. I suppose. Maybe. 2 in a red. Target creature gets +3/+0 and gains 1st strike until end of turn for Slaughter Cry. I like the art on this one. Spring Cleaning, 1 in a green. Destroy target enchantment. Clash with an opponent. If you win, destroy all enchantments your opponents control. Ooh. That's a mean one, but I like it. Clashing is such a weird thing. I'd prefer to do rock, paper, scissors, but I suppose it's a fair mechanic. Unless you know what's on top of your library already. And a Braid, which is a classic card for sure. The artwork's pretty decent. Alright, let's do the 4 card pack, and then we will rip that Edge of Eternity's booster. And see if we can pull something cool from it. Typically the 4 card packs is better to do them from the bottom to the top, so we're going to do that. We're starting with Redcap Raiders. Nice! I think I pulled 1 copy of this before, but it's a really good one if I remember correctly. 2 in a red for a 3/2. Whenever it attacks, you may tap an untapped non-human creature you control. If you do, this thing gets +1/+1 and trample to turn. Yes! So in a goblin deck, that's insanely good, because it becomes a 4/3 with trample every time you tap an extra goblin. Which you surely probably do have some of those kicking about. Prodigal Sorcerer. 2 in a blue for a 1/1. Tap it, and it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. Okay. Oh, that should go in my mono blue deck, but I don't know what the heck I would ever pull from my mono blue deck. But I mean, that's insanely good for that deck. Okay, I like that. I'm always looking at that mono blue deck and seeing what I can do to slightly improve it, just to make it that extra bit annoying for other people to play against. So they don't always want to play high power against me. Enters the battlefield, you draw 2 cards and lose 2 life. Yeah, it's not bad. It is a horror, so I can count that in my horrors deck, which is nice. But I think I had a copy of that one already. And the last card. Ooh, Calamity, Galloping Inferno. I don't think I had this one. 4 and 2 red for a 4/6 with haste. If it attacks while saddled, choose a non-legendary creature that saddled it this turn and create a tapped and attacking token that's a copy of it. Sacrifice the token at the beginning of the next end step, then repeat this process once. What? Does that mean that you get... At the end step, they're going to redo the whole, like... That one's weird. And it's a legendary, so that's cool. But I don't get that one. It is our 3rd legendary of the day, though. So nice on that. I'm pretty sure we didn't miss one. Just going to go quickly through and double check that I didn't accidentally put a legendary into here. No. Okay. Let's do this Edge of Eternity's pack. You notice Kaiba's not on film today. I promised Kaiba that I wasn't going to film him today. We went for a walk in the city because it rained last night. And I think that Kaiba just really needs a break from being on camera, so today, I'm not putting him on camera for any reason. I am going to try and get out the park walk from yesterday at some point today, but beyond that, I'm not doing anything else. Okay, no pack trick required. I'm going to show you the token first. We got a lander and a human soldier. Okay, not bad, not bad. Land at the back, land is at the back. I'm going to do the land too. Planes. It's a hollow one, which is nice, but yeah, okay. Oh, lands are over here. Alright, let's start doing this. Lost in Space. 3 in a blue. Target artifact or creature's owner puts it on their choice of the top or bottom of their library and you surveil one. Nice. All around pretty decent. Except for the fact that the owner gets to choose. I don't like it when the owner chooses. I prefer I choose. Squire's Light Blade. White. Flash. When it enters, attach it to a creature you control. That creature gets first strike until end of turn. Nice. And it's +1/+0, equip 3. Cool. Decent artifact all around. Dark Endurance. 1 and a black. Costs 1 less to cast if it targets a blocking creature. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible until end of turn. Ooh, cool. Intrepid Tenderfoot. 1 and a green for a 2/2. Pay 3. Put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Only do it at sorcery speed, but not bad. It's a good way to put in a +1/+1 counter deck is what I'm trying to say. It's going to be pretty solid all around. Wormwall Sweeper. Actually, you know what? I should just put all these cards over here separately because they're not part of the Dollarama pack. There. 2 for a 2/2. When it enters, surveil 2, station it with 4 or more counters, and then it becomes a creature with flying. Alright. Otherwise, it's just sitting there until you can station it, which, not so bad. Plasma Bolt, 1 red, deals 2 damage to any target. Void, deals 3 damage instead if a non-land permanent left the battlefield this turn or was warped. Cool. Metal Strider's Gear. When this thing enters, attach it to a target creature you control. It gets +2/+1 and has reach. Equip 5. Ouch. Once you get it on something, you're not going to want to get it off there. Litho Breaking. 2 and a green. Create a lander token. Then you can sacrifice an artifact. If you do, this thing deals 2 damage to each creature. Ooh. Nasty. I like it. Seam Rip. When it enters, exile a target non-land permanent an opponent controls with mana value 2 or less until this thing leaves the battlefield. That's the third one of those we pulled today. That's kind of funny. Like the third kind of that card, I mean. The best one's still the one with War 2 from the, oh, what set was that? Brain fart. It'll come to me after I finish filming this, probably. Tapestry Warden. 3 and a green, 3/4, Vigilance, Robot Soldier. Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power? Damn! Each creature you control with toughness greater than its power stations permanents using its tough... That is a really cool card. This is a really cool card. I mean, it's especially cool in any deck that has actual stations in it, but I mean, even without stations, that's insanely good. Ooh, we got another Tar Pit! This is the only full art land from this set that I actually pulled, and now we've pulled a second one, which is hilarious. I actually really like this one, though. Taps for blue or black, and you can pay 1 blue or black and make it a 3/2 blue-black elemental creature. And it can't be blocked. Very cool. Zoo? Is there still a card behind this? Yes, okay. This is definitely the rare of the pack, though. Zoo Ifit? I'm going with Zoo Ifit. Osteoharmonist. 1 and 2 black. Tap it. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It's a skeleton in addition to its other types and has no abilities. It's a 2/3. Well, that almost does what I want to do. I was talking to the other day to a friend about a 3-card combo that I'm trying to make work that lets me when I cast a creature, I sacrifice that creature, I put in a zombie token. If the second card is in the graveyard, I make another zombie token. And then if the third card is on the battlefield, the second card never goes away because all my opponent's stuff goes into the exile instead of going to their graveyard. But I need something that lets me bring the creatures back to the battlefield without casting them. This does it, but I'll lose all the abilities on those things. So, not super great unless I can find a way to flicker them after I bring them back too. And we end on Bright Spear Zealot. 2 and a white for 2/4 vigilance. This creature gets +2/+0 as long as you've cast 2 or more spells this turn. Okay. And there we have it, guys. This is our vacation special episode of DOLLARAMA Draws of Destiny. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this episode. And I'm going to get out here now before my dad gets home. So, much love to you all from Kaiba, who's downstairs, and myself on the bed. Take care. And look out for that vacation, the park trip video, either later today or first thing tomorrow morning, depending on what Kaiba needs for me today, because I'm making today totally about Kaiba after this. Okay, thanks for watching. Love you. Bye.